I have some letters here I want to explain. I read where in David Graham's deal that he's interviewed me. Steve Mills has interviewed me. There's another guy, I can't even think of his name. I think he's on here too. But there's no interview. Here's what happened. They came to my house. Single woman, living in the country. It's dark. David Graham came twice. Steve Mills, I still see him. He apparently loves to visit me. I've just seen him last year after all this time. But here's what they write me. My name is Steve Mill, and I am a reporter with Chicago Tribune newspaper. We met briefly in late 2004. And this is an old letter. This is when he come to my house, or to interview me, I guess is what he says he did. But when my colleague and I showed up at your house one night to talk to you, they showed up at my house. I was in my backyard. Freak me the heck out. I go running around the deal asking who, and they're in my face. Are you? I'm like, what? Who are you? You know what? I'm backing up, trying to get in my house to my door, and all I keep hearing is, did Todd Willingham confess to you? I'm, what? Who are you? What? And then I'm like, get out of my property. Get off my property. Leave me alone. No, just leave me alone. It's none of your business. Leave me alone. I have nothing to say to y'all. Don't come back on my property. 8 more times, they come back on my property. That's my interviews. Then I have one from let's see, what's this girl's name? Jessica Dieter. She was from Frontline. She never talked to me. I wouldn't talk to her. I want to be left alone. Still want to be left alone. So she didn't interview me. She couldn't talk to me. So what she did is she sends me a letter saying that I needed to talk to her because people were saying things that I did that I needed to defend myself. I guess that was her way of trying to get to me, which it didn't work. So she sends me flowers at my job with this letter. So anything they can do to get to me. Then Tina Church says she got a letter from Todd in February, or I think it was January of 2004, to save his life, asking her to save his life. Well, you think that's all she does is try to get people off death row. She's against the death penalty. She wants to abolish the death penalty. That's what she does. So of course you're going to get a letter from him. And in that letter, she thinks it's so important that she got a letter from him to save his life, that he says he's innocent. Last I checked, I have not seen any man on death row or woman saying, hey, I'm guilty, but can we get past that? And can you try to save my life? Really? What innocent person is going to say they're guilty? Come on. So she says, she got Walter Reeves, though, to help Todd 30 days before. So Walter Reeves did send a letter to try to stop the execution, which was, I don't think it was days. It looked like more like an hour that it was sent. But this guy was supposed to believe in Todd. Todd was innocent to this lawyer that he had. But he starts his letter off accusing me. Accusing me of doing this. They should look at me. Now, and then says, but listen, but that doesn't matter. She didn't do anything because it wasn't arson. But you accuse me of something and saying it was arson, and then you turn around and contradict yourself in saying that it wasn't arson. Todd was innocent. His own lawyer didn't even believe him. So, and like I put on here, I have made my statement of what Todd said to me. That is a day I will never, ever forget. Sitting there across from him. There was no screaming. There was no yelling like his mother, Eugenia Willingham, said. She wasn't there. We were there. It was our time. It's probably the only time we ever actually sat there and held an adult conversation in the whole time we knew each other. We were kids. I was 21 when this happened. Todd was 23, you know. So that was a time that was between us, and I didn't feel that it was anybody's business of what was said. I was actually pushed to tell what was said. I just wanted to be left alone, and they wouldn't leave me alone. They were beating on my doors, coming at my house at nighttime, sending me flowers, lying on a deal of how I believe you because I'm your lawyer. That's a bunch of bull. But I don't care what anyone says. I know what Todd told me, and I will never, ever forget that. And Todd was cremated by his parents. They all come back to Corsicana to spread those ashes on my kids' graves, my daughter's graves. And you know what? I was mad at first, but I'm not mad about that anymore. They did what Todd asked them. Who's not going to do what Todd asked? Everybody did what Cameron Todd Willingham told you to say something or do something. By God, you better do it. Whether you were a mother or a father or a wife or anything, you did it. Girlfriends, y'all know how, he had plenty out there of those too. So they knew you did what Todd Willingham, I even have a statement from one of them of how he was. But spreading those ashes, I was mad at first, but then really not. Hey, they're his parents. If it was me and it was the other way around, I always look at things, I try to look at things the other way. How someone else has to look at it or live it or deal with it. But what they never, ever, ever thought by doing that is that I would end up with the ashes. Cameron Todd Willingham's ashes. So I'm not a mean person. I respect people, even when it comes to stuff like that. So I surely won't tell what I did with the ashes, but I sure was given a lot of advice on what to do with the ashes. But that's not me. So anyways, if you want to look at more of Todd's letters, things that we're putting out there, it is the Stacey Willingham Facebook page. There's an Instagram. I believe there's a Twitter. And if you go to it, of course, you're going to see the daughter's picture, my daughter's picture of me holding it up on Pikes Peak above my head and screaming from the mountaintops that Cameron Todd Willingham was guilty of his crimes. So you can scream all you want from a rooftop, but by God, we screamed it from the mountaintops that Cameron Todd Willingham was guilty. And rising from the ashes, the untold truth, you'll definitely get to see a lot of the facts and all of the other side. And I guess you can make your decision from there, because this movie doesn't scare me. Trial by fire.